Tyler, we got limited time for Aki's A-List, so let's get to it.
All right. This actually just in. Elise Menaker from Marquee Sports Network reporting that Cody Bellinger is going to be activated today. No word on if he'll be in the lineup or not. However, with the MLB trade deadline at tomorrow, will Cody Bellinger still be a Cub by the time the team comes home to face St. Louis?
I think so. He'll still be a Cub. I think there's too much money coming off the injury.
And you guys are still in this.
Oh, yeah. You know it. They're just getting hot. They're peaking at the right
Get
time.
Sut on line one. He'll talk you into this team being a World Series caliber squad.
Yes. The other thing is Alzolay had a setback in his rehab, and he has returned to Chicago and will undergo further testing. That's not good. Feel bad for him.
Yeah.
All right, so the Cubs made the big trade yesterday, sending Christopher Morel to Tampa Bay, and in exchange, they got Isaac Paredes. The Cubs also shipped a couple of minor league pitching prospects and one guy, Hunter Biggie, who has had some time up with the Chicago Cubs as well. This is what I didn't understand totally. I saw this a lot on Twitter, and maybe it's just being misrepresented in a vocal minority here. Why were so many Cubs fans upset about this? About sending Morel to, like, shipping him out?
It's a really good question.
I don't think many people understand. I don't think a lot of people watch Rays baseball either. Like, again, like my mom didn't know. My mom said, so what are we going through a rebuild again? And I'm like, no, you're getting a 30 home run hitter back who plays better third base defense, who is still really, really young.
It has a better on base percentage, right?
Yes. He's a 350, 360 on base percentage.
He's a better player.
He's an 800 OPS guy, something that you hope Morel can be. I still think Morel's got a higher ceiling. He's a better athlete, but he hasn't been able to do it yet. And the Rays are banking that they'll be able to develop him, and getting the two prospects back. That's how they do business.
Yeah, it could be one of those trades where it ends up looking like the Cubs may lose in the end because of what the Rays may turn some of these pitching prospects into. But at the end of the day, I think largely a good move by the Cubs. But what does this say to you about Jed Hoyer's future with the Cubs, giving him the ability to make a trade like this for a guy who still has 3 years of club control after this year?
Do you think it says anything? I mean, like, you've still got, you can't, even if he was having second guesses about Jed Hoyer, sit this out, because you're in an important time still. And as I've mentioned before, Jim Hendry was very active and was told by Tom Ricketts, we're going to get rid of you. You need to sign the draft picks and make some deals here before you leave.
What's Jed got? One more year left on his deal?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
I think he's a little safer than other people believe. I think he's going to get...
Because of the prospects that he's got in the system?
Yeah. I think that... And you just hired a new manager. I think they're going to let this thing breathe for another year.
Well, so is next year make or break for him?
I would think so. Many would believe that this year should have been make or break. But like what you said, I mean, what is this, year 2.5 of the rebuild? I think you give him one more year, which will be the final year of his contract, to see what happens.
I'm trying to think through, like, in the last, 40 years or so, the greatest teams in this city, or the greatest, like, runs that some of these teams have put together in this city, all but the Bulls, I believe, did not have the GM that acquired most of the pieces there for the championships, right? Like the Blackhawks, the Cubs, and the Bears.
Wait, what are you saying?
Like, so the general manager who acquired,
like Dale
like a lot of stepchildren. Yeah.
Yeah, Dale Talon drafted Kaner and Taves. And then
Jim Hendry
did
a lot of the work.
Theo did most of the work. It was, who were Jim Hendry guys? Contreras and Baez?
Yeah.
That's about it.
Wasn't Bryant as well?
No, that was a Theo guy. That was 2013. I think he was drafted in 2013.
Yeah, that was definitely a Theo pick.
So, like, they did most of the heavy lifting there. Jerry Krause did not get Michael Jordan.
But he made the trade for Pippen, right?
He did. He did Olden Polynice on draft day for Scottie Pippen, which is one of the best deals out there. And he surrounded him with a lot of great role players. One of the best trades in Chicago sports history is Will Purdue for Dennis Rodman. And they got him for the last 3 championships.
Chris Bryant is hitting a robust 196 this year for the Colorado.
I want to see that documentary. The Javi KB, what the hell happened to them after they left Chicago documentary.
I'm telling you, the Chris Bryant fall from the height that he was is
it's as big as any.
Yes, it's the most dramatic fall for a top level sports person I've seen in decades.
Mm-hmm. He had everything. Because he has he's smart and he grounded.
Yeah,
but just whatever
accomplished
and
from
again,
the height of where he was.
Right,
College Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, MVP, win a World Series in 2016.
Right, and the most pressure was the climb.
Yeah.
What you would think was living up to the expectations as a rookie, or winning the MVP in the World Series in a town that hadn't won it in 108 years. You would think then. I know it's tough to stay at top, but to fall the way he's fallen is just crazy.
He's hit 17 home runs as a Colorado Rocky.
By the way, speaking of Chris Bryant, did you see what number Isaac Paredes is going to wear with the Cubs?
Yep, 17. The first since Chris Bryant.
Do you think there will be any social media bullying?
Like Derrick Rose in the number 1?
And Michael Carter Williams? Yeah.
I doubt it.
How many people will even remember who are Cubs fans?
Chris Bryant?
No, the number. Yeah, I know. But
I think
you think so?
Plenty of people,
like Derrick Rose?
You think
I
they
would
really
say
care?
When I go to Cubs games, the most common jersey of like that run that I see there is Chris Bryant still.
Really?
Yeah. More than Rizzo.
Wow.
More than
I don't think anyone's going to give a rat's ass.
I think
Do
you're
you?
right. No.
I don't know why.
Maybe this is just a product of my age, but I still think because he had a longer career of Mark Grace as number 17 before. And
Chris Bryant still has a mural in Wrigley.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, Mark Grace had a decade. Actually,
A mural.
Sylvie, didn't Mark Grace lead the 90s in hits or something like that?
Yes.
Like, he had the most hits
in the
in
National
the
League, maybe. I'm trying to think if it was in baseball or in the National League, but yes, it was something pretty
like a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, for
big
the
account.
decade.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. So, like, people could bully Isaac Paredes all they want. It's not like I doubt Bryant
There
was
should
ever
be no
getting his number
bullying going
retired.
on.
I got a better question. How are Chicagoans going to pronounce this young man's name when he gets here? And I
Isaac.
know he was here before.
Let's go,
Or
Isaac.
was a product of the Cubs system, but
Ike.
Isaac Paredes.
What's up with this Isaac guy? Didn't the Cubs have him at one time?
Yeah, Tyler, I'm not sure anybody really going to care that he's wearing 17. Do you think people will?
Yeah, there's a lot of sensitive people online.
Really?
I think there will be. I think it'll be a little weird seeing it, but
I'm still trying to figure out. Chris Getz thought like a fair compensation for Eric Fetty was Edman. Like he called the Cardinals. He had Mozeliak on the phone. He's like,
It's giving you a headache.
okay,
isn't it?
here's what I could have. Give me Tommy Edman, and we'll call it a day. That's originally the deal. For whatever intention he had down the road with Edman, he thought fair compensation for Tommy for Eric Fetty, who has a 311 earned run average and has another year control. Give me your guy with the bad wrist who hasn't played anything, and we'll call it a day.
I think that Chris was preoccupied with the dirty pool that was being played by Crochet's agent. So he was a little bit, distracted.
remember last year's trade deadline embarrassment for the White Sox where we found out on the Marlins radio broadcast from Kim Ng that Kenny Williams just did the Jake Berger trade
without Rick Hahn.
Yeah.
They were
Zero
working the
trade
phone
deadline.
separately. Yes. They
Zero
were.
trade deadline since last embarrassment for the White Sox.
And by the way, it is even for whoever wanted Tommy Edman, is he some sort of prize at the age of 29? He's okay.
He's like, who said it earlier? He's a Cardinal.
He's
he's
just
such a Cardinal.
classic Cardinal.
Yeah.
He's like a David Freese or all these spawns. They spawn all these guys. Brendan Donovan.
Yeah.
All these guys, they're the same.
Who's the center fielder wwho played for the Yankees? And
Bader?
Harrison Bader.
Bader.
Yeah.
he's like a Bader.
Yeah. Yes.
They're
Yeah,
all the same
Bader.
guy.
Yeah.
Nasty.
Bader. Yeah. But again, like, I mean,
No, it is. Listen, he's got a lot of defensive ability, so I think that's where. But
He
he's
won a
a
Gold
career.
Glove, yeah.
He's a career 265 hitter
so
with a
did Dansby
319 on
Swanson.
base.
Swanson's got a whole closet full of Gold
And
Gloves.
the most alarming thing is, like, he had a wrist injury. He has minimal power,
We got to have
and then
some of
he
that.
had to have surgery, and he's still coming back from the wrist injury.
If the Cubs called and said, "Here's Nico Horner," I think they could land Garrett Crochet.
Try to sell him Mastroboni first. see if he takes the bait. And if he says no, maybe throw Nicky
Well,
two strikes back in.
It's something. I don't understand why.
How about
ask
who's
Jesse.
the guy, Mervis? Throw Mervis in the
And
equation.
Matt Mervis at one time was like a top 5 Cubs prospect. That seems to be a big thing.